Welcome home, Bitcoin Truth Seekers. It is Monday, November 29th, 5:03 p.m. here in the Arizona desert. Finally, the weekend is over, and so is the downtrend, I think. So check out BitcoinDailyView.com. Got more for you there. I linked to most of the indicators and such that I use here, there. SHIB, fifth most held token on the entire Ethereum network. Something to note, it is a complete ecosystem, so it's pretty badass. I'm just mentioning that because I get a lot of disdain for being a SHIB fan, and well, take that. It ain't a joke. So with that said, looking at Coin 360, this is showing the last hour. As you can see, a mix of green and red in the market. H bar has been holding pretty strong all day. So SHIB is still in the green too. And anyway, it's a glorious recovery. I think that we're seeing some important moving averages be broken and some downtrends being broken. So I think BTC and ETH are looking really, really strong. We're going to look at that a little bit deeper, a little bit quickly. So 4.6 billion in trading volume for Bitcoin explicitly last 24 hours. That is good enough. Got to be above 3 billion for a good day, and we are. So 4.3 billion is not bad at all. Let's see how it rolls. That's a very, very hopeful thing. I like to see around 5 or 6 or more billion with the uptrend that we've been having in Bitcoin. But so be aware that some of the upward movement in Bitcoin definitely could be whale play. So be careful. I'm not exactly seeing the retail volume that I'd like to see to support the uptrend, but I'll take it. It's happening. So spot trading last 24 hours for all pairs on Binance. Like to see it above 50 billion basically, or 26 billion, and we're down 2.77% last 24 hours. You can see the 7-day graph beginning to taper off a little bit there. So definitely we're not seeing spot trading volume. Not that what I would like to see, at least. Derivatives, like to see at least 75 billion or 70 billion. We're seeing 65 billion. So at least there's some action happening there. This is mostly retail trading that I'm looking at here. So with the incredible upwards momentum we've seen it for Bitcoin happening and Ethereum, just be careful. It may not necessarily be retail trading volume making that happen. When we start seeing like 5, 6, 7, billion in Bitcoin trading volume, then I think we'll definitely be seeing some retail, hopefully not just FOMO, but buying power hitting the market. So looking at longs versus shorts for Bitcoin on Binance, where all the badass volume is, 75% long, 24% short. That is definitely a long bias. For Ethereum, 67% long, 32% short. Slightly less, but definitely a long volume, long bias there. Also looking at Bitcoin, big news of the day is the daily MACD tangent has turned positive. Histogram's closing in a positive direction. This is a good thing. As we do move towards a positive cross in the daily MACD, we're going to see investor confidence definitely start to look upwards, start to look positive. Many people do trade in and out on the daily MACD. This would definitely be a powerful swing, so good to see. Also, coincide that with a 50 moving average to the green one. We fell below it, kind of back on basically the 17th of November. But if we can get this positive MACD cross, good thing to put an indicator, an alert in. Definitely when that happens, and as the closer it gets, and that histogram, keeps closing towards the positive direction, we could definitely see a bump above that 50 moving average on the daily chart, and that would be definitely back to Lambo land. On the daily, we have stayed above the 200 and the 314 moving average. That's wonderful. Although the 314, the blue one, is above the 200. That's not so positive. That could all turn around rather quickly. So with that said, let's look at some groovy indicators here on the daily chart. We still have all green Madrid ribbons, EMAs basically. That's a positive thing. Directional index is in the red, but starting to trend back up. ADX needs to get a better looking tangent than that. Looking at the directional index for the daily chart, we're beginning to turn towards positive. So stochastic RSI is not oversold yet. Wage and oscillator by Laserbear is showing a powerful upwards movement. KRI ain't in the green yet, but it's moving up sharply. So daily with all the fancy indicators looking good. As once again, we're above the 200 and 314 moving average. We're in the middle of this RSI cave. Good to go. And on a daily, one of the things that we can see here that is fairly powerful that I like to see is we are playing with previous support and resistance in the chart. It makes sense where we're bouncing. Anything else I want to look at right here? No, not really. We'll just leave that at that. Let's look at 45 minutes here on this. In the 45-minute chart, what is so beautiful as we've broken strongly above the 203.14 moving average, getting ourselves a blue merit badge. That's a wonderful thing. Madrid ribbons, all the EMAs have turned green. I love seeing that. We challenged the 203.14 moving average, got over both, retraced, bounced off the 314, hit the top of the RSI cave for the second time, and bounced off that. Makes sense. And now maybe we're turning around in a good to go spot. Squeeze indicator is showing that we're definitely beginning to cool off a little bit along with the ADX and the directional index. KRI is still in the green, but trending down. Stochastic RSI. One thing I like seeing right now is it shows that maybe it's time for a little bit of a chill out and a turn up, but it looks like we're right at about the right spot for that turn up. Let's look at the hourly. Hourly, watch for that tangent to turn positive on the stochastic RSI. We'll probably continue moving back up. These are big moves up. Of course, you're going to have some sawtooth action on the way. I like what I'm seeing here. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. A 4-hour chart, we still need to get above this 203.14 moving average, but we are challenging it. In general, these indicators look a little bit played out, but so we might see a little bit of a sideways action before we continue back up. But one of the things to note, especially if you are trading alts here on the 45-minute chart, we have been above the 200 moving average now for basically one day. 33 bars, 1 day, 45 minutes. That's pretty darn powerful. 12 hours above, 24 hours above, 48 hours above. It just gets better and better and better. And for me personally, my experience I have found is that the stronger and longer you stay above that 45-minute, the stronger and longer you stay above the 45-minute 200 moving average for Bitcoin, you're looking good as far as alts. You're more likely to break up than down. So I consider I have more confidence in any alt trade I do the longer Bitcoin has been above the 200 moving average, especially if it's trending higher. Good to go. Looking at Ethereum versus BTC, it is moving. It just broke above the 200 moving average once. It broke above the top of the RSI cave. Indicators are looking wild. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, a little bit overextended right now. I'm not going to quite get into it, even though these indicators are looking very, very positive. It's probably going to bounce to the top of the RSI cave here. But Ethereum versus BTC, shaping up to possibly be a rather badass trade. I'm going to check on that tomorrow and later tonight and see if that's something I want to get into. Ethereum versus USDT. A break above the 203.14 moving average. It's continuing up. It's riding that top of the RSI cave, and its indicators looking even better than Bitcoin's. So most likely, if Bitcoin continues up, Ethereum is probably going to outpace it percent-wise. So maybe an Ethereum versus BTC trade might be in the future. Looking at SHIB on the 4-hour chart, the 45-minute chart, pulling in a lot of data and a lot of time here and heating up the GPU. You can basically see it hung out in the 618 pocket for a while, broke out above. Now it's challenging the .5. Indicators looking very, very strong. If you look at a 4-hour chart, it kind of cleans it up a little bit, and you can see it more clearly. After a lot of sideways, it broke up. You got your break above. You got your all-time high around the 27th of October or so. Definitely, it's been given a lot back. You can see a powerful, kind of, let me do it like this, downtrend that it's been on. I would say it's kind of beginning to break that downtrend. It's been very, very volatile. Let's see how this rolls. I definitely think that SHIB might be breaking out of its downtrend that it's been in. So we'll see how that rolls. But it hung out in the 618 pocket for a while. Never got below the bottom of the RSI cave, bouncing off the 618 pocket. Now getting ready to challenge and pass basically above the 45-minute chart, the 314 moving average. If it finds support there, after this powerful move up, it's going to start taking on the .5, which is right around 4780 sats, and it's going to basically take on the 200 moving average. And above that, we are back in basically blue sky territory on the 4-hour chart. That's a wonderful thing. But look at the 45-minute chart. We have definitely recently broken above, out of that 618 pocket. And we have broken above the 200 moving average in the 314. We're kind of far from that 8 moving average right there. You can see the red moving average kind of far above that. But let's see what happens. It's really looking strong. So SHIB versus USDT. If Bitcoin continues staying above that 200 moving average, with the in general upwards trend. Solo Ethereum, which is pushing really hard right now, getting ready to go above that RSI cave. Beautiful trade. Like I say, Ethereum versus BTC might be a sweet ass trade at this very, very moment. SHIB versus USDT back in the action. Mana versus BTC. It kind of has been consolidating here, building some power, and now it's challenging that 200 moving average. It really has not been on a downtrend as much as kind of a consolidating sideways trend. A person could definitely sort of draw a wedge here if they want it, a wedge pattern. And yeah, sure, why not? You could draw a wedge pattern like this, and you could say that it's breakout time. So has it possibly broken below? We shall see. These indicators are a little bit weak, but they are kind of in a spot to be turning back up. Let's see what happens. What I'm really, really watching here on the 45-minute chart from Mana versus BTC is it going to just dump below this 200 moving average and start ranging between the 200 and the 314, or is it going to find a break above? It's still very, 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 very well may. We have a lot of volatility in the market right now, so things are kind of getting their finding their gravity, basically. Looking at Mana versus USDT, kind of the same situation. It's been bouncing off that 200 moving average really hard, even getting down to the 314 a few times. It's all about this moment right now. Indicators a little bit of a mixed for me, but if it can bounce above this 200 moving average, which maybe it's doing, kind of make a break time versus for Mana versus USDT and for Mana versus BTC. Definitely, I do think that I think Mana is kind of the Bitcoin of the metaverse. Metaverse is definitely happening, so we could definitely see this make another play. But I'm not quite ready to hop in Mana versus BTC or Mana versus USDT yet. Looking at BAO versus USD versus USD. Looking over at the FTX exchange. This is a 45-minute chart. We're going to go. I'm just going to show this very, very briefly. It's been doing very, very well. It really, really pumped, gave a lot back. It's getting to a retrace zone. It's either going to start making a move up now, but it is below the 200 moving average. It's probably going to go down to the 314, which is the 618, make a bounce, or maybe get all the way down to the 618 golden pocket there and then make a bounce. That actually would be a very, very positive thing. I'd rather that than I'd rather hit the 618 and bounce, or hang out in the golden pocket there and then bounce. That'd be a great continuation. So anyway, BAO versus USD. This is my shitcoin of the week. We're going to kind of deep dive into that throughout this week and kind of see how it does, get into some yield farming and such like that, give you some info on that, and even what a synthetic asset is, which is what BAO is. So synthetic assets and also yield farming. We're going to deep dive a little bit into that, or a lot of it into that this week as we go along. I'll try to get my ass out of bed in the morning and do videos. Worst case later in the day. But with that said, Bitcoin definitely has won the day. This is a beautiful breakout. So without belaboring anything, the optimistic future for humanity held by the Bitcoin truth seekers has won the day. There's a huge fear bomb being dropped that just is not quite having the effect that the globalists would like. So definitely Bitcoin truth seekers. Every one of the Satoshis that you own has given a serious deep knuckle punch right to the globalist nuts. And that's a beautiful thing. We won. Hope won. A better future won. Humanity won today. Let's see how this week goes. It's going to be a struggle. You know, we don't win every battle, but we won today.